Hi, I'm Dave Klein, and this is a Cymulate Cybersecurity Newscast. We talk about vulnerabilities a lot in the newscast and are especially interested when researchers take the time to create proof of concept exploits. So what's this? This is when someone finds a vulnerability and then takes the time to show you how it could be exploited in a proof of concept exploit. Generally speaking, when that happens, very soon thereafter, we find that criminal attackers more easily take advantage of these situations and attack. And this one's quite interesting. So researcher Bobby Rauch was looking at Microsoft Teams and found poor default permissions that allowed him to do attachment spoofing. And basically, he created a proof of concept exploit after he showed this vulnerability, calling it GIF shell, and showed how he created a reverse shell and deliver commands via base64 encoding. So the idea of base64 encoding makes it difficult for Microsoft to see what's inside of the code being set across. It makes it difficult to protect. Basically, the GIF shell allowed to read all conversations, exfiltrate data, and even do RCE through NTLM, relay attacks, and drive-by downloads. A fascinating read. I'll put a link to it in the notes section of the video. Expect this to be exploited quickly. Expect that this proof of concept exploit will be coming back next week talking about a criminal exploit based on this. Right now, Microsoft says there's no problems. They see this as just the way it works, that this is default permissions, and that's the way it is. I expect to see some patches come out based on this because it will be exploited. Stay tuned. In the horrible war of aggression that Russia has done in the Ukraine, there have been some really interesting examples of hacking and other ways of using electronic warfare to get back at the Russians. In this case here, the news story this week is Nikita Nish, a cyber researcher and owner of a Ukrainian cybersecurity company called Hack Control, has spent this war hiring volunteers and other people to help hack for helping Ukraine defend themselves. They've done things like taken over Russian TV stations and put pro-Ukrainian messages in. They've hijacked traffic cameras in Belarus, which is a staging area for a lot of the Russian troops, as well as occupied portions of Ukraine to find out troop movements and things like that. And the latest thing they're doing is called honeytrapping. They've created fake profiles with pretty women on them and are eliciting conversations across Facebook and other Russian social media platforms to get soldiers to send them pictures of themselves with geolocation data attached unknowingly, and are able then to turn that information to the Ukrainian military to then bomb the facilities where these Russian soldiers are. Very interesting. So what does that mean for us in the world that is not at war right now? There's a lot of things around watering hole attacks and honey trapping that deal with us. So what's the difference between the two? Honey trapping is someone pretending to be unofficial or someone important, trying to engage in a conversation. Could be over, hey, I have a job that you might want, or hey, I have some business opportunity for you, and actually be a fake account and just trying to grab you. Another one is watering hole attack, where it's a website or a compendium of knowledge for your industry, and in fact, it's a fake site trying to trap all the people who are in that industry to try to take advantage of them, either for industrial espionage or even nation-state actor type things. I think the important thing here for us is phishing education is more than just doing email education and email testing. You really have to get into things where all the ways they can get at you. Watering hole attacks are a great example. Honey trapping is a great example. Make sure people understand that when on Discord, Slack, Zoom, or Microsoft Teams, as we learned about in the last news article, that this is kind of important also do as well. So you have to have well-rounded phishing education. This news story, I guess, is best titled, Sometimes Life is So Bizarrely Stranger Than Fiction. The LockBit Ransomware gang apparently has a campaign that will pay you $1,000 in your Bitcoin wallet if you get a tattoo of their logo on your body and then send them a video to prove it. Really bizarre. And what's interesting is a Ukrainian cybersecurity researcher named Export, he or she has a GitHub site where they're tracking every person who's getting these tattoos, the video that they have to provide to prove that they got the tattoo, and then even the Bitcoin wallet showing the transaction that they did get $1,000 each. They paid about $20,000 so far, the LockBit gang. I can think of all sorts of things I'd want as a tattoo. And most of those that are pretty benign and stuff like that, I still don't do because I wouldn't want something permanently on my body. criminal activity, no thank you. But again, this is an example of how people romanticize criminal activity. And I guess it's a thing. Not for me. No. And that's the newscast for the week. I'm Dave Klein. This has been the Cymulate Cybersecurity Newscast. Have a great week.